These are the parts for the front fairing. It's made for a 1100. We are putting it onto the 500 SE version. Here's all the parts and instructions. This cover for the dash, the speedometer, we probably won't have to use it. I don't think it will fit. Everything else should fit pretty decently. We're learning as we go. It's made for 1100, but we're going to make it work on this 500. We have these 4 Allen head bolts. They're 5mm Allen head bolts. We're going to remove them. There's 2 on that side and 2 on this side. All up. We're taking out the last bolt, last of the 4 bolts right now, and this shroud for this SE version should pop off. That's what it looks like without the shroud. I don't know if I'll have to put that other shroud on because it looks identical, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Probably don't even have to do that.
We'll see what it looks like when you get started here.
Okay. Okay, we decided the factory one is the same identical one that come in the kit, so we don't have to change it out. I'm just trying to figure out what our next steps are. These 2 brackets, this bracket is similar to the aftermarket for 1100. Other than it doesn't go up here, but it mounts the same. So we'll be back when we figure out the next step. We're going to put some masking tape over the bottom bridge here, just so we don't scratch it all up. We have to take this bolt here. There's one on each side. We have to remove it. It already has this other bracket attached to it, so you can use a 5mm Allen key. I'm using a 5mm Allen socket with a really long extension. So we're going to remove them 2 bolts. Pause it. We got a long extension on the ratchet to these 2 bolts that holds this stay on. We're going to remove them. And then we'll be back as soon as we're done with them. I got them 2 bolts out there. We decided to go ahead and take the headlight plastic shroud off with them 4 bolts. There's 2 on each side. I'm taking it off now just because even though they're the same, we have to take them off anyway in later steps, so we're going to go ahead and remove them. We'll be back. We messed up. We didn't have to take that off after all because this Rebel is the special edition version, and it came with a fairing, the small fairing, so it already had the correct headlight surround. So we're going to put that back on, then we'll be back. Alright, we're back. We got the new plastic shroud back on. Now we're trying to figure out how this bracket here comes off. Up top here, it just has 2 points that go up in the rubber bushings, as far as I know. Or at least that's how the other one is. Down here, this already has the spacer on it too, that we have to put on from the kit. So we might not have to do that step. We still have to take it off because okay, we got these 2 spacers, which the kit has new ones, which these are metal. I think the ones in the kit are plastic, so if so, I'll reuse these metal ones. Okay, now that the headlight's loose, now we got to figure out how this bracket here comes loose. See a light. I'm not sure how. There's one there. We'll be back once I figure this out. Okay, we have to take the turn signals loose. Because on this bracket for the SE, it is different, and the bracket's held on by the bolt for the turn signals. We'll be back when we figure more out. We're at a standstill now because the old bracket it bolted to right here. This bolt here bolted through the turn signal to hold the turn signal on, which is no big deal. We can put a nut on that and be done with that. But the problem is this new one has these 2 prongs, and on the 1100 they're supposed to go up in some rubber grommets. On the 500 there's no rubber grommets nowhere. So I'm debating on how that's supposed to go on. Does that just sit up inside of the triple tree, the top plate, or what? We're gonna try to figure that out when we come back. Okay, well, we got the bracket on. I see that them holes there are not going to line up, so we got to figure out if they will even line up. The 2 little nubs that go up under the triple tree, I guess they just sit up under there, what I'm assuming. So that is where we're at now. We zip tied that to hold it up so we didn't have to finagle it. So we'll be back as soon as we figure out the next step. Okay, what we figure out, we're putting in the new spacers. They're a little shorter than the old ones, so we're going to try these shorter spacers if we can get them in there. Everything's all tight fitting. pull that out a little bit. Fell right in. Well, let me try getting this other side in. Okay, that sits there. Okay, now what bolts do I need to put in there? Okay, there's the spacers. These instructions are pretty vague. They just pretty much show pictures of what needs to happen. Number 8 needs to go in there, which is the 40mm M8 screw. Okay. We'll get them 2 screws out. These are the biggest pain right here. I'll show you where we're going on the other side once I get it. Find me or something. Don't worry about that side right now.
The whole bracket's gonna go through that.
Yeah, we will once we get it. Okay, let's try it. Try and make it. Okay. You see, tilt the headlight down. Try to, yeah, and push back, and it should go and line up. Yeah, looks like it's pretty good there. Get that camera and zoom in right here. We're putting a 40mm M8 bolt. And let me get a light. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Right there's where it will go. We just have to get everything to line up.
I would say put the bolt and then just move your fingers so that way people can see where exactly you're going. You can get it to just sit in there for a second. Nope. That's alright.
We gotta try to get the bottom headlight bracket and the spacer and this top bracket all to line up. And it's going to be a chore.
I'm back out now.
Drop it about 12 times. They said it's a pain to do. If they would have used regular nuts, the hex nut instead of this Allen, it probably would have been easier. We're still trying to figure out how to get these bolts lined up. Don't know. This is really difficult. I'm gonna do this without scratching. What we're trying to do is that bolt right there. We are trying to line it up, get it to go through the bracket, through the headlight bezel or holder, the headlight bracket, and also into the bottom triple tree so we can tighten it down. So we're going to try to get that going, and then we'll be back. What seems like hours later, we got them 2 bolts in. It was a pain to line them 2 up. It took probably a good hour to get them 2 lower bolts. When we had to take the bolts out of the headlight bucket that holds the headlight on. It made it a little easier, but it still was a pain. So we'll be back on the next step. We got the headlight screws partially back in. She's tightening them both up now, and once we get that done, we'll be back with the next step.
Yep, 98%.
Okay, we got all that taken care of. Now is this top bracket, which on the 500 the holes do not line up. I think the one hole is going to line up, so if it will line up, then that's what we're going to go with. We'll be back once we figure this part out. We're back. The bracket, they won't line up at all, even with the spacer or nothing. So, but it's fairly sturdy. It ain't gonna go nowhere. I mean, that's probably tighter than most windshields that I ever had on a bike. I know a lot of them cheap windshields that, like I had on the old 250 Rebels, they were really flimsy and they vibrated and moved around, and this is a lot sturdier than that was. So we're gonna go with that. We are going to put the shroud on, see what it looks like. I don't know how bad it will look. If it looks bad, we'll take it back off, but all it is this piece of plastic here, and it just bolts here, which would be a good thing because it would cover the brackets, plus it covers the speedometer, so it will, you'll be able to see the speedometer in the bright sunlight. Hold that right there a minute. I'm going to go around and see what it will look like. Get about where it needs to be. This video might not turn out real good. It might, I don't know. We've been at this for a while. I don't know that I like that.
Test it out. If you don't like it, we'll take it back off.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put it on. And if it doesn't work or it's hideous or whatever, we'll just take it back off and do away with it. But that's all that was. So we'll be back on the next step. Okay, we got everything together. We got that little visor on. I don't know that I like it, but I'm going to try it out and see if it does keep the glare off the speedometer. So that's a big problem whenever you're riding in the bright sun. I think if it didn't have this big gap right here, it would be pretty sweet, but I'm going to run it like that for a little bit and see, and if I don't like it, then it's 2 bolts and it comes back off. So off to the next step. Alright, now we're fitting the windshield. The instructions say to use these little white washers on the end of the well nuts, but they will not go on. So we're going to try it without the washer on the back side and just use the well nut. So give us a minute and we'll see how this goes.
Or here's this one.
We're using these well nuts to attach the windshield now. You already have a well nut?
Yep. Put it back in the bag.
Yeah, I was using extra washer on the backside, but I don't know why that was for. What the whole purpose of that was going to be for. Because it would not fit. There's a nylon washer in between the windshield and the nut. And that makes sense, but the one that the instructions were saying for the back side does not make any sense at all whatsoever, so we're not putting them ones on. As you tighten these well nuts, if you ain't ever used them, they work like the anchors inside of drywall to hang pictures up. As you tighten them up, the back side spreads out and holds the back of the windshield or the wall or whatever you're putting it into. Okay, now we'll bring you around and show you. That's a screw with a nylon washer on this side, and then on the back side is the well nut, and you can see how they squash down, and that's what grabs onto the back side to hold the windshield on. And as you can tell, it's really tight. So now the last and final part of this challenge, I assumed it was going to be 2 hours, and it's so far been at least 4, is putting the fairing on. We'll get back to you in just a minute. Alright, we're back for the final step, and the final step is there's an upper and lower hole here. The well nut goes in. There's 4 of them, 2 on each side, upper and lower, and
You got that one.
there's on the fairing, there's a, hold that,
Got it.
there's a upper and lower bolt there, and these screws she's holding will go into that through the well nut, and the well nut will tighten that up, and that will be the final installation. Then you just turn your handlebars, make sure everything's lined up, and we're good to go. I'm going to leave this recording while we do that.
No, I need to.
Yeah. Mine's up.
You're not putting my bugs in the camera. I can do the voice like that. I'm sorry, people.
Lining them up might be a little pain. I put my top one in first because I can't get the bottom one lined up. We want to just put them in there really loose until we get them all 4 started. Allen bolt heads look good, but they're in pain when you want to tighten something up. I don't know what size Allen wrench that takes, but it's a tiny one. I would have used a drill, but I don't have a socket head Allen that small. I think it looks really good on there.
Does it? Does it look good?
I wish the sides come out further past the
Gotta fix those.
past the hand grips, but I like the looks of it, especially on these SEs that has the fork gators and old blacked out. I got a really good deal on this. They're like $240 on Amazon. I bought off a dude on Marketplace for 80 bucks. All parts were there. It's brand new. He buys Amazon returns and things. I don't know why it was returned, because it's old. It was old there and all in good shape. Other than that, the instructions were junk. They do make a fairing for the 300 and 500. It's the same fairing, it just uses a different bracket, a smaller bracket. I'm not sure how exactly it works, but I got reading and they said the 1100 fairings will work on the 500, just so little odds and ends were different. But so far, I mean, look-wise, I like it. I'm hoping it blocks a lot of the wind so it ain't so cold when I ride to work at night. Go around it and see what it's going to look like up from the backside. Don't mind the mess in the garage. I gotta get out here and clean it.
It's too hot to do it.
Yesterday it was all smoky from the Canadian wildfire, so we didn't do much at all. We just hung out in the house mostly. I wanted to do this yesterday. It was just, the air quality was horrible, and I told people, especially when you're old and fat, it's hard to breathe whenever it gets bad.
Did you just call me fat?
I'm gonna set this back up and while she finishes tightening up.
Stop. You didn't.
Do what?
Yours is not, no, stop, see, yours is not in the right spot. Yours didn't fit all. You didn't punch it all the way through the hole.
I probably did, and then when I didn't push it over before I found it.
Okay, well, I'm glad I said that. Hopefully it'll
Hopefully
push back down.
we didn't mess that one up.
Whatever. Well, I think we've got one more or two more there. And we brought extras. So when they old people like us, yeah. I'm glad I said
You're too good.
Huh?
Your side's all good.
Oh yeah, my son's good, good. I mean, like.
That's why this one wasn't going like it was tightening up.
Yeah. I kept going until that one was like he's kind of.
Okay, now can you see the bottom? Is it good or?
See the bottom, hang on, gotta turn the wheel. Find the bottom. Yeah, you're in there, hold on. That one popped into place, unlike the top one. The top one's a little looser.
Look good.
Yeah. That's not a lot of fun, because it keeps hitting the. Yeah, you gotta. Little by little.
I love the looks of Allen head bolts, but they're a pain when you gotta tighten them up by hand. And there's still a long way to go.
I'm gonna check when you get a chance, sorry, when you find it. Sit back down there and check it when you're done. The only way you can see it really is if you go down this way. Find their little black things.
Oh yeah, so then to show the camera and zoom and explain what they do.
Actually, we are still recording. So, to cover up the silver, because this isn't all blacked out, they sent us little tiny caps to pop one in. They're supposed to just pop on. Not that one, but it's just in the back. About 20 of them, that's what I'm gonna.
The hardest part of the whole install was the two bottom bolts into the, right here into this lower triple tooth. Pretty tight, ain't it? Well, other than installing them caps, that's what she's been doing. It's just
I think
to
they're
cover
all
up that
good.
chrome. That's all there is to it. This, what should have probably been a I don't know, I assumed it would be a 2-hour job, probably turned into about a 4-hour job. Majority of that time was the 2 bolts on the bottom, getting them all lined back up, because it was a pain, because you had to line up the bolt with the spacer, the headlight bracket, and then into the lower triple tree, the lower bridge here. You had to line all that up, and that was the hardest part about the whole installation. I really think the looks of the bike is a lot better. I hope it keeps a lot of wind off. I'll take it for a ride in a little bit and see how it does, and I'll give an update how I like it and how it is in the near future. I don't know how well I like that visor. Don't worry about it at all. There's a walk around of it. She's installing lights cap now, so until next time, please like, subscribe, and share. Help my channel grow. That way we can bring more videos to you. So, till next time, thanks.